All right, so what we're going to cover today, like we mentioned, is we're going to unveil the newest PTU 2.0 trading strategies. We've been unveiling it in a few different cities, in Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Francisco today. So we're starting to show that on our roadshow, and we'll be showing it in Los Angeles tomorrow, et cetera. But you guys are lucky because you'll be able to see it here tonight in your home or office. Also, TJ will be jumping in, like I mentioned, and he'll be demonstrating the trend jumper, which is our high frequency trading strategy that is now going to be incorporated into the PTU curriculum, which we're super excited about. And then you'll also learn how you can get started with the PTU and enroll as well. So I'll give you all the details and information on that. And of course, answer all your questions. This is live, this is interactive. I won't cover this in a lot of detail. I just know we may have some people fairly new to us. I do want to always establish that we've been around since 1996. 17 years in this business, providing training, signals, trading services, etc. So pretty much just about the longest in the business, other than probably one or two other companies I can think of. We all sort of started at the same time, but really there's nobody else in the industry other than one or two that have been around this long. We've worked with over 10,000 individuals, just like all of you, from around the world. We've got people everywhere. It tends to be about 50% what we would consider international, and 50% in North America, and definitely have students in dozens of different countries. It sometimes shocks me when we go through where everybody's actually at. And the Premier Trader University itself launched in June of 2012, and we've already had 3 successful graduated classes coming through the undergraduate and the major training, which we'll talk about. So that's pretty exciting for us as well, since we have a lot of momentum in this area. I always like to kind of lay out to people that I trade and my entire team trades. I think this is important because if I'm in your shoes, I want to know that the people talking actually are also in the markets. It's not the case typically in our industry. I know that probably doesn't surprise you, but this just is a quick screenshot of my trades. I'm very active. I can trade sometimes up to 7 markets in a day. I guess I'm just I just like all the activity and action. Of course, you don't have to do that. You can trade 1 market and do just fine. But obviously, in this week, last week, I made all my money on the short side for some reason, and was more mixed on the long side. But the overall was a pretty good week overall, but plenty of activity, as you can see. So I always want to establish that. And the neat thing is the entire team you see here on the screen, Brian, who you heard from very briefly in the beginning, and Troy, who you'll be hearing from, we are all actively involved in the markets almost every day. I could say every day, except maybe if we're on vacation, and then even then, a lot of times we're still trading. But I think that's really important because the one thing that you always will know when you work with us is that we're in there with you side by side in the trenches. We always know exactly what's going on in all the markets. We know when they're working great and when they're not and when they're mixed. We're very aware of that. And if I'm in your shoes, that's typically who I want to work with and learn from, is people who are actually doing it. So a few quick things. I think most of you know why trading is so great. I don't need to go over this in a lot of detail, but there's a lot of great stuff about it. It's one of the, you could call it the world's best business once you're profitable. Obviously, until you're profitable, it's not. But once you get profitable, it's pretty amazing, right? Startup capital is next to nothing other than your account. You can control the risk. You don't have employees. You can scale by just adding size. Pretty cool overall. And as long as you don't treat it like gambling, it's a great place to be. A lot of great opportunities in trading, day trading, swing trading. I mean, we love futures day trading. Forex day trading can be very good. It's a little bit more limited to a couple pairs, the Euro US and the Euro Yen. That's really where we always tell people, if you're going to day trade Forex, just stick with those 2. And that's it. Now, if you swing trade Forex, you kind of open up a lot of different pairs to yourself. And those of you in stock and options, you guys already know you've got a great hot list of stocks and ETFs that have been, many of them, we've been trading the same ones for years. So lots of great opportunities on that side as well for swing trading. We're not going to talk about day trading stocks. When we talk day trading, we're talking futures and we're talking Forex. And on swing trading, we're talking Forex and stock and options. So, you have a lot of choices in futures in particular. You can trade in the stock indices, the energies, the metals, agricultural, Forex, interest rate. I'm going to show you here in a couple minutes quite a few of these. So we're gonna kind of cover a nice broad mix overall. And the nice thing is too, I know when I'm doing this, I probably have people from Australia, from Europe, etc. it's not just about US market hours. There's great opportunities during the European market hours. I know I had about 11% trading the DAX. What a great market, right, for European hours. You've got the European trading session for Forex traders, both on the swing trade and the day trade. You've got Euro stocks, you've got Eurobond. There's definitely some real opportunity, really no matter where you are in the world. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. You don't want to trade any old market, any old time during the day or night. That's not a way to succeed. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to switch over right away, right? That was pretty quick. And let's get right to the charts. And I really want to just kind of talk specifically about the bread and butter of the PTU, because it's all about the education, the training, which I'm going to cover for you. But ultimately, right, it comes down to the trading system itself. And this is a real key piece of it. So I'm going to actually start. This is a Euro Aussie, by the way, swing trade, which has been awesome, as you can tell. And maybe even looking at it, you can start to kind of probably almost guess how the system is working as far as where we're getting in and what the little markups are on the screen. And I'll get back to this one in a moment. Actually, you know what? It's up. Let's talk about this one right now, since we had a lot of Forex people here. I was going to start in crude oil, which is probably our second most popular in the poll. But let's go ahead and just start with this one. So what I want to do is I want to explain to you a few things about what you're seeing on the screen. So I'm trying to expand it here a little bit. The indicator down below is what we call our PTU trend power. So as simple as possible, and I know you're not there with me, because if we were doing this live and I was in front of you, I'd be asking you, what do you think it means when the trend power indicator is green? And hopefully a lot of you are talking to yourselves and saying out loud, and nobody thinks you're crazy who's sitting around you. You're probably saying it's bullish, it's in a buy, it's going up, the trend is up. Yes, you're correct. And what does it mean when the trend power down below here is red? You should hopefully be saying it's selling off, it's going down, it's bearish, we're shorting, whatever the case may be. You're all correct. What do you think it means when the trend bars themselves are green? Same thing, right? When they're red, same thing. When it's red, it's negative. When it's green, it's up. One thing that I have found in literally doing this for 17 years, trading every single day in the market, is you have to make trading very visual. You have to make it so it's crystal clear and does not require a lot of analysis, because most of you, I think, have traded or are trading now. I think you'd all agree with me when I say, you know what? It's sometimes not just enough to see a setup on the chart. It has to be something where you can quickly make the move into your broker and get the trade placed in time, get the trade executed, and get it done properly. And you also always want to know what your exit is in advance. Well, everything you see happening on the screen here does all of that. It's extremely visual. It's always in advance. You will always know where you're getting in. You will always know where you're getting out. Your job solely becomes executing the trade plan, which means placing the trade properly, moving the stop when you're supposed to, making sure your profit target is in the system, and letting the market go where it needs to go. Okay, so let's kind of go in a little bit more detail so you understand a bit more what's happening on the screen. I'm going to go back a little bit because actually I want to go to where this trend probably originated from. Okay, this would be a good place to start right here. So perfect. Okay, so let's kind of talk here. So we've got this red on the trend power. So we know that it's a trend going down. So what's happening on the screen here is we wait for the market to pull back into these two lines. You see this yellow line and the cyan line? These are exponential moving averages, okay? So it is pulling back into the exponential moving averages, and then you kind of see how it pops back out, right? When it pops back out and the trend power is down, and in this case, the trend bar is down, and that's not something we have to have in all cases, but it certainly helps our odds in a lot of the trades. We end up getting a setup. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up a data window here in TradeStation. You'll notice when I highlight that bar, it's going to give me the exact entry price. I'm going to place the sell stop at 1.2390, and we always go for target 2. Now, there are cases where I'll split, and I'll exit half at target 1 and half at target 2. We also tend to do something with our stop when we hit target 1. So there are definitely more advanced ways to trade and to scale out, etc. But we'll just keep it simple for this demonstration. So I think without question, you can tell that we triggered on the next bar, and the market slowly went sideways and eventually worked its way down and hit the full target. Now this target is 45 pips. Okay, so when it hits target 2, it's 45 pips. You may not have noticed, but I'm using something called a momentum bar here in TradeStation. And if you're on Ninja, It's a range bar. A lot of other platforms call it a range bar. That means every single bar is the same size. This is so much better typically than trying to actively trade with time intervals. You will do far better when you use range bars / momentum bars than you will ever using time intervals. That's going to be one big thing hopefully you take away if you don't already know that. Okay, in addition, I always know that on this market, this trade plan, my target's going to be 45 pips. I know that in advance. I can place my target in advance. I also know my stop in advance, right? There's no guessing. There's no waiting till you trigger. There's nothing like that. But what I want to point out now is something that's very important. So great, we have a nice successful short. Look what starts to happen to the trend, right? The trend power starts to head up, and right here it turns green. What did we say before? What does green tell us? It tells us that the trend has turned to up. I want to go in the direction of the trend, but I do want to try to catch the swing fairly early if I can. But I also want to make sure I'm doing it from a position of support, because one thing that you guys probably know is if you chase a market too much in a breakout, your odds do go down. Okay, and one of the biggest improvements in PTU 2.0 is the fact that it only chases a breakout in one scenario. All the other scenarios, it wants that market to pull back first. Now, what's interesting about this one is we immediately get a setup, right? You almost think, well, geez, I don't really see the pullback. Like over here, I see the pullback. But why do you have the setup right away? If we have the trend turn green and we're just coming through the moving averages, for us, that's as good as a pullback. It means that we literally have a setup right at a support point. And look how perfect this trade turned out to be. Look how close we came to stopping out, yet we never did. It was within a pip, but the market held on and ended up rallying to full target. And do you remember what the full target was? How many pips? Hopefully, once again, you're saying to yourself 45 pips. So another 45 pips. Was this an easy trade, right? I mean, you triggered in, you were underwater, you're back to, well, not quite even, you're underwater, you're back to even, you're up a little bit, you're down a little bit, now you're back to even. But you have entire structure, so you never have to sit here and worry or stress or anything. There's no decisions to make, okay? You're gonna leave that trade in the system, you're gonna wait until it stops or until you hit target. When you hit target one, the only thing that will happen is the stop will come up some. That's about it. That's all you need to do. And if we get very close to the second target, we have additional money management that will start to trail the stop behind the cyan line. But nothing you need to worry about, because most of the time, when you punch through the first target and you're between target one and target two, you're going to get target within a couple bars, sometimes the same bar, 1 or 2 or 3 bars. You'll see that most times it goes to target at that point. Your odds go way up when you start to hit this area. Now later on, right, this is all in October, by the way. This is October 2nd. We get a pullback, right? So we get a pullback after a successful trade, and just take a look at the bar. It's nice and popped off of the support. You get a setup, which in this case is 15 pips above. That's another thing. You're never going to be in a situation where you don't have plenty of warning to be able to place your trade. And the trade works great, right? 45 pips to the upside. All right, continue on, since we're just talking Forex. A lot of sideways action. This is another great thing about PTU2. It does amazing in chop and churn and consolidation. No trading system is perfect. I'm not going to tell you that we're not going to get in a trade during chop and stop out. Of course we are. But between PTU1 and PTU2, probably the most revealing thing, probably the biggest revelation, has been how we've done on some of the tougher, choppier trading sessions, both swing trading and day trading. And I will show you some examples of that in a moment. But another thing, as you can see, pull back into support, setup, no trade. Setup, no trade. We do get setups that do not trigger. When they don't trigger, you should be happy. It means you avoided a trade that would not have worked out, at least temporarily, because this trade soon thereafter sets up, triggers, and off to the races, another winner. And you can see here, right? Here's a setup, almost triggers, but it doesn't. It comes really close, okay? Let's take a look at the entry on this one, 1.2721. Okay, we get as high as 1.27178. So, and we go to the 4th digit, by the way. I don't worry about the 5th digit in Forex is a waste of time. So, we barely miss, but by just a few pips or ticks, however you like to look at it, doesn't trigger. Was that pretty good? Yeah, it was good, because what would have happened if you would have triggered that trade? You would have stopped out, and that's okay. We're going to stop out. When we come right back with another buy, this one works. And remember what I said, when it goes to target 1, it almost always gets to target 2. 45 pips again. Finally, in this big run, we have a trade that triggers and stops out. What you're going to learn, though, is we never take a trade in the afternoon in the US session. So this one actually triggered in the afternoon, so you could have filtered this out, but let's just say we didn't. You went in, you always knew where your stop was in advance. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to overanalyze it. You just get out of the trade. Now look what has happened. All this time, we never once tried the short side because the trend was powerfully to the upside. But right here, after this big move up, it's already sensed that the trend is turning. And not soon thereafter, here on October 8th, October 9th, I mean, this is all current. We took on a short on the 8th, down to target, and here's another short on the 9th. That's today. Sorry, yesterday, down to target. And let's see what else we've got. Right now, that's where we're sitting live. We got a potential short here at let's go and look, 1.2562. So odds are good that if that triggers, that trade is going to work. It's not a guarantee, could stop out, but I know right now in advance, like I told all of you, my target and my stop. And by the way, 45 pips, 45 pips, 45 pips. That's racked up a lot of gains. This is a great market, by the way, for swing trading, the Euro Aussie, one of my favorites. Euro New Zealand is another really good one. Of course, the Euro US is great as well. Let's jump over for my futures traders and talk about crude oil futures. So I want to do that. In fact, I'm going to look just really fast, quick scan of the questions, just to make sure there's not anything that I should interrupt for. Okay, yeah, so I see yes, just to answer Phil, absolutely, it's a full training course. It's structured just like a university. It's not just the system, but the idea of the presentation here tonight was to really get into more detail with the trading system, because we're going to train you on everything, but ultimately, right, it comes down to you need to be trading a trading system that is profitable, that is going to make you money. Then you need to have all the education on how to use this correctly. I hope what you're going to see as I get through this demo is, again, it's so straightforward and so visual that you're going to be, seeing and telling yourself, this is something that I can absolutely do. And I'll talk about the trading portion of it in a moment. One thing I like to do, I don't like to cherry pick, okay? I think it's important that we don't just look at one specific day, that we look at a streak of days. That's why I just showed you the Euro Aussie the way I did. I also want to do the same thing for crude oil futures, okay? Again, I could show you one day that is amazing. Anybody can do that, all right? I want to show you consistency, and that does include sometimes being interrupted by a loser and by a losing day and all that sort of thing. That's all part of trading. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be upfront. I'm not going to, sell you something that is just not realistic. But again, it's pretty easy to offer this because I think you're going to see the consistency. So let's just start a week ago in the case of crude oil. So everything works the same way. You notice down below? What does that trend show you? That shows you that you're only going to be buying, right? You're looking for pullbacks into your moving averages, okay? We're using, in this case, a 12-tick momentum bar. This changes once a week. You're given the formula, so you know when this is 12 cents, when it's 16, when it's 11, when it's 9, because it does change, and it can change up to a weekly basis. And it makes a huge difference in performance to know what that number should be in advance. All right, so we start at 9 o'clock New York time. On my chart down below, when you see 8 o'clock, that's 9 o'clock New York, because I'm in Austin, Texas, so that's Central Standard Time. So I trade the markets live, so I like them to be in my time zone, I should say. All right, so let's just kind of go forward here. So you notice that this trade triggers at 7:48 in the morning. Okay, we have something called Get in Sync. I know some of you who've traded with us in other systems, maybe even if you're on the PTU1 right now, you know that we have something called Get in Sync. It gives us the ability to potentially take the trade that's still going when we start trading. So theoretically, when we start right here, we could, in theory, grab this trade and end up with full target. The reason that we wouldn't in this situation is you notice it already almost hit target 2 before we even started, and we have some money management that would have actually taken this trade out at a partial profit. So this is not one that I'm going to get in sync with. So we need to look for a brand new setup. Not that much later, right? We end up getting a lot of consolidation. We get a potential trade here that doesn't trigger. And then look what happens. It pulls back, pulls back, pulls back, pulls back. So we don't do that. We don't trade when it's working against us. But we get a bar here that pops back up above the support. The trend power is green. We're above the moving averages. The trend bars are green, and we additionally will place the trade to go long 89.49. Now, I know some of you probably know a little bit about something we teach called key levels, and maybe you're screaming at the screen saying, no, 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 89.51, and you're right. We would be buying at 89.51, not at 89.49. And some of you may have even noticed these little swings here. We really wouldn't be working around these because the adjustment will be too far. But in this case, great trade to the upside. How much is this trade worth? Okay, that's always a question. This is worth $360 a contract because it's 36 cents. I understand I gave up 2 cents on my adjustment, so call it $340 per contract. And then you're going to have commissions, maybe $5 in commissions, and you could have slippage sometimes. That's minus about 10. So you're going to be at, with my math here, about $325 per contract. How difficult is it to trade 2, 3, 4, 5 contracts with crude oil? It's easy. It just move the number. What you have to do is you need to build your account first. You need to build the profits so you have a big enough account to safely trade this. Do you know how long this trade took once it got going? 8 minutes to the upside, $325. We had to wait a little bit because we had a lot of sideways consolidation. But did I try to short this? Did I try to buy this and get stopped out? Nope. I waited for the purest setup I could get, which is this PTU2 setup, and I finally got it. I had everything in my favor, the trend bar, the trend power, the pullback, the momentum bars, the exact size, and I got a really nice trade. Okay, so we're done, by the way. We do something called power of quitting. If you don't know that already, I know a lot of you do. We want to have one winner and positive results, and we're going to get out of Dodge. That's the way that we trade. You can certainly go for more if you want. It's totally unnecessary. All you have to do is trade more contracts. You don't have to work harder. Let's go to October 5th. So again, we start at 8 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock Eastern. That's right about here. Notice what happens. The trend bars are still green. So I'm still thinking buy at this point. Actually, you know what? The best way to look at this sometimes is like we would be looking at it in real time. So let's go to the right edge of the screen, okay? We just turned red on the trend power, so now I know I'm looking for a short, but I can't short here. I need this pullback into what? The moving averages, and then I need a healthy pop back out. So it doesn't take this one as a setup because this is still too interlaced in the support. But this one is now clearly safely out of the moving averages, and this becomes the setup. So I can place live in my system a short at 90.77, and I'm going to target how much? Do you remember? 36 cents, $360 per contract, $90.41. I actually trigger right here, and what happens? Right? You've had this happen to you. The trade immediately goes against you. But I have my stop up here. The stop in this case is at 91.13, and we do have a little swing high here at 13, so it's possible we bumped that to 14. But we're going a little bit sideways. We're actually, now back to about break even. Now we're losing a little money. Now we're ahead a little bit. And we get the move down. I was in this trade live. I remember this trade. I know Brian was in this trade. And this was one of those where like, is this going to work? Is this going to work? It didn't really feel like it for the first 15 minutes. And then almost out of nowhere, the system took over. And traders wisened up, right? They made sure that they had the market sell off for us. Another really nice trade, okay? And that, again, like I said, is $360 per. I know you've got cost. But, $5 for a commission or less, $10 for slippage if you had any, and that's it, and you're done on the session. In this case, how 8:15 to, 8:37, 20-something minutes. Not bad, right? All finished. I don't care what comes after, if it wins, if it loses, it doesn't matter. That was October 5th, by the way. Let's jump ahead to the next session. Again, trying to give you a little detail here, I realize, but I'm trying to show you that we don't need to cherry pick. We come on to October 8th. This was Monday, okay? So this one had to pull into the support. Everything was set up. We had the trade. Now we know the odds are clearly in our favor. Very clean setup. Hits full target, okay? That's 3 really nice sessions in a row. I know I'm going a little quicker because I have a lot I want to show you, and I don't want to spend too much time on any one thing. One of my favorite trades, this was actually yesterday. I was in Dallas presenting at our roadshow. And this was a trade that we took live. It was pretty cool because this one is actually one that we had took before the session. But I was like, you know what, this is before the session. Let's talk about when we typically really do start on the trade plan, which was 9 o'clock. So right at 9:43, we get this set up. And it's a long, as you can see here. I'll give you the buy entry, 90.52 if you see where my arrow is moving. And I was shooting for 90.88. Again, 36 cents, $360. It was interesting because look what happened initially. It looked great, right? You're really excited. Everything's working out. and then it starts to pull back into support. But that's the whole idea here. There's lots of support here. I know the trend is up. I know the trend bars are up. I've got a nice, good, hard stop down here. I'm giving this lots of room to work out. And exactly what I want to have happen and pullback happens. It finds support, and because everything was already in my favor, the buying pressure kicks back in, and I get full target on that trade, right? Really nice setup. So 4 days in a row there, pretty perfect trading, right? Yeah, I know there's more good trades after. Why didn't I stay around and trade some more? You know, a lot of times there are, but I don't want to be bothered. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't need to take every setup, and I know the odds are best approaching the trade plans the way we do. This morning was interesting because we actually started with a short, right? It's important to see the trades lose too. All right, so this one we started with this short. We got short at 91.88, and I ended up stopping out right here. Looked pretty good initially, but just almost, you know, out of nowhere, pretty much, there was just this tremendous buying pressure that kicked in on crude. And it was fascinating because all the other indices weren't doing anything. They were just dead in the water, the metals, the indices, the stocks, etc. But crude found a bid. It found a buy. But what was cool about this was we quickly were able to take a buy not that much later and zipped up to full target. So, you know, in this situation, we get the loser and we get the winner. But we want to kind of continue at that point, and I'm going to scan ahead a little bit and show you the ultimate end result. So I get another trade, this time a second buy, and this ends up going to target one. And this is something we're going to teach you on when we have one win and one loss, and we're coming towards the end of our trading session. We'll go for target one. The reason for that is if I have 2 wins and a loss, I'm going to end positive on the day, and we're done during the trade window we want to trade. But even if you didn't, if you just went ahead and raised your stop and took the partial loss on this one, not that much later was this really nice short that came up and ended up hitting full target. So partial loss, full win, ended up being a pretty good session. Not as good as, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, but pretty good session overall, and still ended positive, and that's 5 days in a row. Really, really solid. I know you might get dizzy when I show you this, but I'm going to go back to it in a moment, maybe on crude. I want to go to another market, but there's a week where it was amazing how it kept filtering out. A very tough week to trade. And it was a Monday, Tuesday, I can't remember the exact day, like September 28th, I think, something like that. Really, really choppy. And the PTU2 literally went through the 2 hours, had setups, not a single trade triggered. We didn't end with any profit, but we lost 0. And believe me, if you saw how choppy, it looked a lot like this the whole day, by the way. Not to have a trade set up that day, under the original PTU, we would be in the market. I mean, it's just the way that it was designed, and there was just no way with the whipsaw that we were going to get any targets. So that's, like I mentioned, one of the real big breakthroughs with this. All right, so that's a little bit of Forex swing trading, a little bit of energies on the day trading. Now I'm going to have to go a little bit quicker because I do want TJ to be able to demo for you Trend Jumper as well, and I don't want to keep you guys too long. But I'm going to show you Russell Lee Mini. So again, this is another popular market. I like to start trading this market 10 o'clock Eastern and after. You can trade the first 30 minutes, which, by the way, on my chart is 9 o'clock, as you imagine, because that's my time zone. But I like to trade after the first 30 minutes. It's just sometimes I miss some really good early trades. I do. But I find that if there's going to be any chop and churn, it does happen in the first 30 minutes, and I've got plenty of opportunity typically after the first 30 minutes. Plus, if there's news at 10 o'clock, it's nice to kind of come in, you know, right after that and take trades. So that's when I like to do it. So, you know, this again, same thing, no cherry pick. October 3rd, short trade hits target. I'm going to have to go very quickly, but thankfully you can see the calculator identifies every setup for us. This is a trade that came before in the first 30 minutes. Remember what I said, it can be pretty choppy. Doesn't do badly. I mean, it gets to the first target, but we come back in later when it's cleaner and we get a nice short to target. And notice that we didn't get in the market here, okay? We could have, you know, got suckered into this, but we did not. We were able to avoid that. It took a little bit for this trend to kind of work off because we're in a pretty good upswing here. But once it did, we had this perfect pullback, setup, structure, and target. So, I mean, imagine if you're in this. All you have to do is place the trade to short at 835.90, make sure that you get out at 833.80, and take your $210 per contract. That's what this one is worth, $210 per contract. Again, doesn't take that long, 10:05 to 10:20, right? 15 minutes. Could take longer, of course. I mean, there was another real nice trade after. I'm not bothered with that trade. Going on to the next day, again, starting at that 9 o'clock. Potential get in sync here, but a little bit late. It already hit target. Didn't matter. At 10:11, which is 9:11 my time, nice, easy, straightforward setup. I don't need to explain that to you. Yep, another good short here. Took some heat and then went to target. Didn't take it. Going quickly. I know we're moving fast. Try not to get dizzy. So this one is, well, this was Columbus Day, so we didn't trade the stock indices on Columbus Day, as you can imagine, with the holiday. All right, so this is yesterday. So yesterday, this was a great example. Okay, I really love this chart because we started right about here. So we actually had this short setup potentially, no trigger. Another short setup, no trigger. A buy setup, no trigger. Look how choppy and sideways this was. This was for about 35, 40 minutes. It would have been really easy to go long here and get stopped out. It would have been real easy right here to go short and get stopped out. Ultimately, we ended up getting short here, 10:37 Eastern, and we hit full target. And that's it. I don't need to go any further than that. Even if there's another good trade after, it doesn't mean anything to me. At that point, we're done. Final example from today. So here, after this is early, the first 30 minutes, then we come in, we take this buy, and I was in this trade live. I thought it was going to work because the market started to go up, and it almost hit target one. It just missed. I ended up having to stop out on this trade, but we came back not too much later and had this really nice short setup. And you can tell today, if you guys traded, it's really choppy, but chop, 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 broke lower, and what's the thing? It hit target. So you know what? I had a loser and I had a winner today. This was a wash day for me, minus a commission and slip. Really just about $10 per contract on commission and very little slippage on this market. You'll get an occasional tick overall, and that would be it. So this was really the worst day in the week that I showed you. Pretty nice outcome overall. There's a lot more I can show. I do want TJ to be able to come in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let TJ do the trend jumper, and then we could come back and show a few more things, just so you know, like here's Apple Computer, works the same way. I want to go ahead at some point, we'll count up from end of August until now, how many winners we've had swing trading and which you can use options with Apple Computer. And then another really cool one to look at is gold futures, because in 2 weeks, the last 10 days, gold has made over $3,000 per contract. That includes winners and losers. So pretty exciting stuff. So Troy, I could talk about this stuff all day, but I got to go ahead and hand this one off to you.
Shucks, Mark, I wanted to see more on the gold chart there.
All right, it's all you, but you'll get to see some more in a moment.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me grab the screen. I'm kind of jumping around on one leg with just one monitor here, so give me just a second.
Yeah, Troy's actually, we'll talk about this a little bit later, in San Francisco right now with some of our team, and they're doing the roadshow presentations. So he's doing this remotely, so fingers crossed internet will hold up.
Yeah, it's always that. One thing I want to say to everybody is that this is only my second time seeing PTU 2.0. I had the pleasure of seeing it for the first time yesterday in Dallas, and now that I've seen it second day, I feel like I already know the system. I mean, the system it's just so simple. Just by watching you walk through it, Mark, it's like I got it. It's like my learning curve was what, 5 minutes? I mean, is there anything else that you're not telling us that I need to learn on that? Because it looks amazing. I want to start trading.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, it really does not, the specifics always are the hours you trade, as you know, the power quitting rules, a little bit of the key level, there's the nuances, but as far as 90% of it, you're right. I mean, it's right there.
And I'm really excited about that. And what I want to tell you about Trend Jumper, first of all, this is a sneak peek. I'm going to show you some of the system. I'm going to be revealing the entire system to the PTU enrollees at our next training coming up, which we'll talk about in a bit. One thing I'd like to say, obviously most of you know me for obviously being a coach with NetPicks for many years and calling a live room, but also developing, designing the 7 Summits Trader. And you're going to notice that this looks kind of similar. There is one similarity, which I'll point out, but this system is entirely different than the 7 Summits Trader. What it does have in common with everything that we do here at NetPicks is, just like PTU 2.0, like Mark said, something that's very important to us, trade setups that are very visual, trade setups that are crystal clear, The entire trade is given to you in advance. You're going to know where your entries are, your targets are, your stop before you take the trade, and you're going to see structure on the chart. And that is so important because it gives you a framework from which to trade with confidence. And after you've lived with the strategy, or strategies, I should say, long enough, you build that belief structure as well so that you have the confidence to take the trades as they print and as they should. So I know with PTU 2.0, starting crude oil at 9 a.m. is when you like to start, Mark. I like to start 10 minutes earlier just to show kind of a comparison, apples to apples, like what we do in the trade room with the older strategy with the SST, and I just wanted to kind of show a comparison. This green dotted line that you see here, you might think it's similar to what we had in the SST, and it is similar, but it's also slightly different. It's a modified version. We call it the jump line. The reason why we call this trend jumper is because it is looking for a particular pattern with price action, whereas with a long trade, you're like jumping off of a trampoline. So just looking here on the left, you'll see the price come up and it kind of jumps off of the jump line, and that's what's given us our trade setup, and it jumps to its full target, and that's one of the main setups. And of course, the reverse happens on short. So like SST, if you have a setup above the jump line, it's going to always be a long trade. And you can see the plus sign, you can see the targets. If you have a setup below the jump line, it is always going to be a short trade. And that's it. It is really that simple. And by clicking on the bar, you're going to see your entry, your targets, and your stop. Now, we're always going to be going to the second or the third target, and that's going to be dependent upon the size of the trade. This is very dynamic and sensitive to immediate and current market conditions. So sometimes the trades are smaller, we'll go to the third target, and other times when the trades are larger, we'll be going to the middle target, and that, of course, will all be explained in training. So at 850, I put a line here to show you where, right around where 850 is, right in here. The first trade, actually, you know, I hate to have to show you a loss on the first trade, but that is what that was, because normally we might want to adjust, but this one was a little bit more. I only want to make 1 or 2 tick adjustments, and it does trigger in, and it does come down and stop out. So the session today, this is today's session, did start out with a loss. One thing you should notice, though, is that the losses are very tight, and those of you who are fans of the SST Simple, for example, who like that stop right on the other side of the setup bar, that's what you get. Trend jumper is like that. And so what you have are risk-reward ratios that are almost, you know, you're 1.5 to 1 or you're 2 to 1, somewhere in that range with most of your trades. Okay, so that's another cool thing about trend jumper. Turns right around, you end up with a short trade. You know, this is what you would call a scalp. It only grabs you 12 ticks, but I mean, that's all the market had in it. It was a nice trade, and we were out of the way before it was able to take that away from us, because we're already out with our target. And notice that the market did turn around, and then we got a second setup, and all this is in just a few minutes. Remember, we were starting at 8:50, and so within 30 minutes we're already pretty much done with our session. If you're quitting with Power of Quitting, you get your 1 loss and your 2 winners. And, you know, Power of Quitting is a good practice, but just to show you the strategy a little bit more, it also does a good job of avoiding bad trades. You could see here there was a long setup, it got canceled, and it did not take that trade, and instead it ended up taking a long trade over here. It avoided a short as well. We missed this move coming down. There's a reason for that. We're only wanting to focus on the trades with the highest odds of setups. There are some trades that are decent odds, but I decided to filter those out. So you can see a nice winner here as well. You do have the option to trail a second position, something I'm going to teach. And one thing that's unique about this setup or this strategy is that sometimes you get setups within the setups, and those are also very strong, and you do have the ability, as you grow your account, learn the strategy, to build a position. And so sometimes these are my favorite trades because I just know how powerful the jump is, and you know, you could just see how you can continue to build your position as this thing goes up with just a whole bunch of winners. It really loves trends every time you get your pullbacks, you get good setups. Of course, you're not going to want to just continue to take them. There's a limit, but you know, it was pretty good. You had to go quite a ways until you got your first losing trade. It was all the way to 1045, and then it turned around with another nice big winner, and it just, you know, continued to do pretty darn well. So that's crude oil. That's today's session. If we looked at yesterday, you'd see much of the same. Yesterday was also pretty amazing, and one of the things with this strategy is that you pretty much have the opportunity to quit positive on most sessions. It's hard to find a session where you cannot quit with a positive result. Some popular markets that I kind of shied away from with the SST, just couldn't really seem to get it to work. And since I figured I had the Russell, I didn't really need to focus on the Dow E-mini or the NASDAQ or the S&P. With Trend Jumper, it's different because the Trend Jumper really loves both the YM, the NQ, and actually the S&P as well, along with a whole bunch of other markets. So let's just take a quick peek at the YM. We know that this market opens at 8:30. I put this line 1 minute before just because it covered up a setup. It happened right at the open, and that one was a pretty nice trade. It avoided getting long. It didn't stop out because we're making that key level adjustment a couple ticks right above this little swing level here. We're always going to be working on key level adjustments like we teach, and that ended up being a nice 21-point winner. In the meantime, if you wanted to add your position, beautiful jump trade right here, and that was for another 18 points, and avoided getting long. This one ended up not stopping out and hitting its full target, and I mean, literally, you could be done. You could be done right then and there with power of quitting if you wanted. Maybe you only took one trade. You had to take more. I ended up with an 11-point loss. This one barely ticked in. That's going to happen every now and then, but small trade, small loss, and it comes right back around and picks up a nice, strong 18-point winner again. So, you know, 3 out of 4 right here. If you didn't add on, then you had 2 out of 3. And that was your session on the YM today. And, you know, Mark, I know that we're kind of short on time. I mean, I could show you more. I got plenty to show. This is just supposed to be a sneak peek. So, you know, let me know if you want me to look at something else, or how are we doing on time?
Yeah, no, that's great, TJ. I think the point I want to really stress is, hopefully you guys are noticing this, how quickly the trend jumper trades, right? Remember I said high frequency trading? It's not to say you couldn't put this on a daily chart for Forex, like I had a question on that. You can, and you will still get frequent trades, but one of the real neat ways that this is going to work with PTU2 is PTU2, right? We're looking for those really pure setups, which is great. With Trend Jumper, you're going to get multiple opportunities sometimes inside of waiting on that bigger setup on PTU 2.0. It's almost like designed for me, a guy like me who's pretty impatient, as you know. So this is ideal if you don't have a lot of time, you want to have multiple setups. You know, if you have a trade that doesn't work out, you're going to quickly get another opportunity. So it may be perfect for a lot of people. I know I had a question here from somebody talking about European session. I don't know if you've looked at things like gold or crude. I really haven't in European session. I've looked at things, of course, like DAX and Eurobond and Forex, but I don't know. There could be opportunities there. You can certainly see that this thing picks up on frequent trades, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that there are on the West Coast. So the European session is the farthest thing from my mind, although my dream is to maybe live in Paris one day. But one thing I do like to trade, even though this is really being presented as a high-frequency day trading system, I use this exact same strategy on my end-of-day charts, and that's how I trade Forex, actually, is with this strategy using end-of-day Forex. And so if you're in Europe, doesn't matter where you are, you can pull up an end-of-day chart, and you're going to like what you see. Just quickly, you know, there's a last 3 trades on the Euro Aussie, for example. I mean, I use a lot of different pairs with this, but some of the popular ones, pound dollar, it just works really, really well. You know, you're picking up all these trades all the way up to the long side here. And nothing after that. You're out of the market after those winners and just waiting. end of day, you got to be patient. But that's why you look at a lot of charts to increase the frequency. But that's always a solution. So if you're anywhere in the world and the markets you like to trade are just not happening except when you want to sleep, and you got to sleep sometimes, you could always swing trade. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, TJ. Plus, we're moving through it pretty quickly, but you absolutely can day trade Forex with tick charts as well. I would say again, Euro US, Euro Yen. Those are going to be the ones you're going to want to look at if you like this style of trading, which obviously TJ is kind of showing you here real quick. Euro Yen. So lots of great opportunities, and the two approaches are very complementary to each other, which is what's really exciting, I think, for us. So let me switch over. I want to do at least a stock because I don't discriminate against anybody, and we have a lot of stock and option traders enrolled in the PTU, and Mike Rixey, our option specialist, who does a lot of the training for it. And one of his favorite markets is Apple Computer, though there's numerous different markets that he tracks and follows. But I thought it would be interesting just to sort of do a count, basically, if you guys can kind of, along with me, see if you can identify. Remember, TJ was sort of mentioning, how pretty clear these setups are and straightforward. Just to go back to sometime, look about August 20th, these are swing trades. But you can see, obviously, a buy here that we all would agree hits target, a buy that hits target. So, at that point, you've got, right, a couple winners. You can see, I got to move me off my screen here a bit, but I don't think there's any question that after a little bit of back and forth, the short hits target, coming back around. I think we would all agree that this buy misses target by a little bit, but you get a partial out of it because we'll teach you what happens when you get within the 10% of the full target. There are just some times where mechanically things just don't quite get to the whole number. We don't want to let it free fall back, right? So we end up just taking a partial on that one. So get a small little winner on that one. Kind of moving on to the next setup. Clearly buy setup, no problem hitting target. So moving along, couple setups here, no trigger, no trigger. Ultimately, you get this short trade, and that's going to work out, I think. Yeah, it ends up working out. That was August 30th. A buy that doesn't trigger, a buy that does trigger. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Finally does hit target, so you get another winner on that one. Kind of moving through, no trades for a while, trend turns down, you get a short setup, now you get a short that triggers, still not at target, still not, okay, there's target one, and there's your target two. Now we're back up around, we'll see if the trend changes here. Back to another short, so now we're in another short, and this is already, where are we at? We're about mid-September at this point. That's gonna be a stop out, right? So that goes on the loss side of the ledger. Didn't get to target one, stop out. Now the trend's back up, so we'll be looking for some buys. We need a good pullback. Didn't quite get the pullback we wanted here, so we missed a little bit of an opportunity on this one. But ultimately, the good news was we got another buy. Yeah, we didn't catch, and we can't catch every single move, like TJ had showed too. But the good news is eventually we had what we wanted. We have to wait till everything is stacked in our favor, and then we get a good trade, and we get another buy opportunity that this time, that one stops out. So I think at this point we're I think we're 9-2 overall. Get a short here, back and forth, hits targets, and now we're 10-2 overall towards the end of September. Get a short, back and forth, and stop out right here. Came close, but didn't quite make it. Another short, stop out. So we got a couple stops in that move there. Now we're back to the buy side, no trigger, back to the short side, and we got a stop there, but then we pick up, obviously, a winner here. So we get another winner, and let me just kind of keep going. I know I'm going fast, but I'm just wanting you to really get the feel without us sitting here like a lot of people do and just try to pick one good trade for you. That's another winner on the short side. Keeping going, another winner on the buy side, which was a nice one. Just we're in October now, so we're almost there. There's a short that actually picks up a nice winner. And another short that picks up a nice winner. So now we got like 15 winners overall. And nothing there, and we're short, that's another winner, 16 wins. And no short trigger, that's a buy that's in, it's in. Target right there, obviously. So pick up one more winner there, and that's where we're at right now. So 17 winners, 5 losses. Really nice pattern overall. We had a couple times in there where we hit a streak of a couple losses, happens. Nothing we can do about that, but 77% winners overall. And these moves are, almost $8 for the target. Imagine that on a call option each time. Pretty nice potential setup. So let's switch back here and talk some specifics about the university itself and how you can get started. And then, of course, I've been answering a lot of questions, as is Brian, but I kind of want to show you guys, now that you've seen the systems, I mean, they're so exciting. It's hard sometimes to contain enthusiasm, but I'm hoping you really see. We want to spend a lot more time today with the strategy and the systems themselves. But P2 is all about what we're calling lifestyle trading. We don't want to be in the markets 12 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day, 4 hours a day. If you're a day trader, I'd like to see you done in 2 hours or less, and really an hour or less if possible. If you want to trade multiple markets, then you may start some markets at 1 hour and then pick up some other ones in another hour. That's what I do. I kind of stagger. I come in and I trade silver and then the DAX and unleaded gas and then crude oil, and then I trade Russell Mini in the mid cap. I mean, that's just me. I kind of give it that window of time, and I like to have a lot of opportunities. The neat thing about Trend Jumper, I think, even for me, I have a feeling I'll be able to cut my window down, because with Troy's Trend Jumper, I could get more activity. That's why I kind of go a little further, because I'm waiting for some other markets to open. The way that it works is like any university. You enroll, you sign up, and then we really have structured this like a school. It's important, because I think people learn best when there's a curriculum and there's clear steps. There's the prereqs. The step 2 is the undergrad. That's all the system training. Major is you picking a major, meaning specialize in Forex, specialize in futures, or specialize in stock and options. And then you can go ahead and do another major after that as you see fit. But we like you guys to focus initially in certain silos. You'll do best overall. You don't need to trade 10 markets at once. All it takes to be a profitable, successful trader is one market that you are consistently successful with, because you can scale contracts. You can literally be somebody who never trades any more than one market. Now, you may want to trade multiple markets for a lot of different reasons and diversity, and you may eventually want to start in day trading and then swing trade, or vice versa. So it's really nice to know that you can kind of set this up to be a little bit customized based upon yourself. So step 1 is a home study at your own pace. You would literally be able to start immediately today, and you go through the course material. It's all pre-recorded. It's step by step. If you have a lot of experience trading already, you might go through this pretty quickly. But there's a lot of great information in there that everybody that we've talked to who's gone through this, even our most experienced traders, have said somewhere along the way, there was a huge eye-opening moment for me. And the reason for this, it's done by myself and the entire team. So all those coaches you saw in the beginning all contributed to this, all of their years of experience going to the prereq, because we want everybody on the same page when we start the undergraduate training. This way, what happens, and this has been so successful, is we don't get a lot of those upfront questions that take a lot of time. Everybody's already got those answered by going through the home study. So we can dive right into the fun stuff, which is teaching you guys the strategies you saw today. Because I know all of you want to get into the markets, or if you're in it, you want to start making money at it. And we definitely want to get you through that process as quickly as possible. But we'll go through styles of trading, brokers, charting platforms, placing your trades, all important things, the software, the hardware that you need, technical analysis. You can throw away 98% of probably what you already know, but there are some things that we do want you to know. Risk and money management and trade psychology. I'm not going to bore you with 5 days of training on trade psychology, which you could go through, and maybe it's worth it. But because we're in the markets every day, we can boil it down sometimes to a few eye-opening statements and concepts and approaches that many times can replace somebody talking for 8 hours about the topic. So we can very much relate to that, but all of this is going to be covered in the prereq. And then once you complete that, we're going to start the undergraduate. And the great news for all of you is that's going to be started in under 2 weeks, the next class. It's a live in the markets training. It's 2 days, but it's not a whole day, so don't worry. We realize that attention spans are what they are. You don't have to come to us. You can watch it from the convenience of your home or office. It's all recorded, so I realize some of you are in time zones that are not conducive, maybe for when we schedule this. So immediately it gets recorded, and you'll be able to start streaming it. Plus, it's archived forever, so you can go back to and refer it, and you are going to learn and master the trade strategies during the undergrad. So you already saw a lot. I showed you a lot today already. I think you probably all would agree that it doesn't look that hard. And that is by design. So much programming went into those little calculators that show you every single setup and target. You don't know how many lines of code go into that. So you guys don't have to think and analyze and crunch multiple charts and multiple time frames and do all kinds of regressions and Fibonacci's and all this crazy stuff. You just need to focus on the clean setups on the chart, placing them correctly according to the trade plans, which that's essential. And then like we always say, our mantra, let the market do what the market's going to do. And we have a whole bunch of other things we'll, of course, teach you. This is a full-on education about trading. We pour our heart and souls into this, everything that we know, all the art of trading, key levels, chart levels, picking the right market, which is essential. Out of the gate, you got to start at the right market. It's really key. What size you should go for, what you should risk per trade, developing a trade plan. Because you know what, you might say, you got all these great trade plans, but I want to trade natural gas. We want you to be able to develop your own trade plan, so that's going to be covered in the undergrad as well. As soon as we go through that, you can immediately start in the majors. Back in the first 3 classes, everybody had to wait. Now we decided to let people immediately jump in and start a major. So you pick futures or Forex or stock and options. You can start that right away. It's very specialized. So if you're a Forex guy, you don't have to hear all about Apple and you don't have to hear all about the Russell E-mini. But you know what? If you're a futures guy, that's what you want to hear about. You don't want to hear about the Euro US. It doesn't mean anything to you. So this is very focused, very concentrated, specific to that major. And we can get much more advanced in the major training, which is nice. So we cover advanced techniques. I mean, I'd love to tell you that the Euro US trades identical to the S&P E-mini. And there's a lot of similarities, but there are behavioral, as you could imagine, differences between them. So this really gives us the opportunity to kind of point those out. Probably the biggest thing that everybody is after in the major is the trade plans. Mark, give me the market, the range bar size, the time of day I should start, the time of day I should end, when I should quit, what size should my targets be, where should my stop be. Everything is disclosed in complete detail by the market. We don't just say, here's a bunch of indicators, good luck to you. I mean, it is a fully developed plan. So when you pick one of those plans, you'll have everything set up perfectly to replicate exactly what we're seeing on our charts and exactly what should be happening in the market. So keep that in mind. It's really one of the exciting parts overall. And we'll cover, of course, a few other things as well. Best times a day, calculating the time trade intervals, auditing your trade plan, the whole deal, making sure you really get specialized on this. Lots of great choices in futures. You've seen some of them today. I wish I could have showed you wheat or DAX or gold or silver. I can't show you everything, obviously, in the time we have. I almost thought I could show more, but we just have so much to show you. Forex, you saw with the trend jumper. I showed you with PTU2. Lots of flexibility, whether you want to trade them actively, like the 2 pairs I talked about, or if you want to go ahead and do more swing trading. Stock and options, mid-cap, ETFs, the well-known names. This is an opportunity for a lot of you who really haven't thought about option swing trading. I'm here to tell you that is a huge opportunity. This may be the first time you can get super high quality trading and a trade system and open your eyes, right? 2/3 of you aren't doing anything in stock and options. You should be. This is a big opportunity. As you grow your account, you're going to want other places to be able to put your funds. You have tremendous scale in stock and options. So keep that in the back of your mind, even if you're not there today. Also, you receive all 3 majors. That's a big question we had in the beginning. It didn't used to be like this. We had a lot of feedback. We decided to open up all 3 majors, all-inclusive. We wanted to make this an all-inclusive offering. So as soon as you finish futures, if you want to start on Forex, you can. I recommend you don't jump right into them. I recommend you start trading live and start making some money, and then you can move on to the next major. I wanted to show this slide. We'll go through this really quickly, but this shows you on the left column, PTU system, strictly 100% trading the system mechanically. Then if you incorporate what we teach you during the undergrad and the major, there are just techniques, there's tricks, there's adjustments. Some of them are small nuances, some of them are bigger. You can see the increase in performance when we looked at mechanical versus having education and training. I don't know about you, I would be happy, of course, with the left column, the 540 pips or the $5,600 in the DAX. That's great. But if I have to work no harder and I can make $10,450 rather than $5,676 just by implementing what I'm taught, I think I'm going to do it. So you can see it can be very substantial if you just follow along with the education. You got to remember, we've been doing this for 17 years. We've learned a thing or two through trial by fire and trial by error and everything else to get to this point, and that's what we disclosed in the training. We've had lots of great results since the release June 1st, and what's neat about this is all based upon PTU1. This isn't even based on what I showed you today, which has even what I kind of been calling pure entries, filtering out a little bit more noise and chop. I'm going to beat all these results based upon what we have right now. Plus, it's just that much more effective in more, market conditions, where we thought a little bit like hopefully things don't chop too much for too long. At this point, we have developed the systems in a way with Trend Jumper where you can take advantage of very little swings. I mean, TJ's system there doesn't take a lot to get on and get finished. And with PTU2, it's pretty darn stubborn. It will not put you on a trade until really things are stacked up the way you need them to be. So obviously lots of great results. We've had plenty of great testimonials. Some of you are probably already are on the call today. You can see from Paul, best package we've offered. From Frank, support's very helpful. The presentations are very complete. Very pleased with the PTU approach. And this is all about the original. Maurice talking about fantastic, thoroughly put together, super informative, professional, etc. So, and his situation really needed the new opportunity. So we have lots of great feedback. So when does it start? I know that's what you want to know. It starts right away. The moment you enroll here today, you guys can start the prereq. Okay, you'll be starting with the undergrad in literally under 2 weeks. Okay, 2 days, 23rd, recorded, you can stream it live. I like you to attend live if you can. If you can't, no big deal. The major starts immediately. All this is going to happen for you this month. There's no reason you can't be trading and demo trading by the end of the month. And then at that point, it's kind of your comfort level when you're ready to go live. Just really depends on how much experience you have. The Trend Jumper is included with the PTU. This is the first time we're doing this, and it is going to be sold separately in November, somewhere up to $2,000. It is all inclusive with PTU. So you will get everything plus all of Troy's training on the Trend Jumper. We also give you 2 one-on-ones. These are important. I suggest 1 hour after the undergrad, 1 hour after the major, because you're probably going to want to talk to us one-on-one about your specific situation. In the small group training, you may not want to share your account size or things like that. A great idea is to work with the coaches. They'll even sit there while you're trading live and you make sure that you're doing things right, etc. So that's an added bonus. It's a pretty big one. For us, it's worth $500 for the 2 hours. We do live in the market training every single week. You guys get to come to that. We don't charge for that. We don't charge extra. There's no recurring fees at all. Got the best support in the business. Hopefully a lot of you already know that. But we'll do whatever we can, phone, email, live chat, taking over your system if we need to help you install something, whatever it takes. A couple quick things. I want to move through this fast, but it's important. If you're not on TradeStation now, or if you are on TradeStation, there is a way to sign up and set up with them where they will rebate you back up to 100% of the tuition that you're going to pay for PTU. They're going to rebate you back through commission. So trades you're going to be taking anyway, why not have somebody pay you to place trades you're going to take anyway? And that will just chisel away up to 100% of your tuition. Plus, you can get 6 months free on their platform in addition to this, where you don't have to start trading right away. You can take your time. There's no, you got to start trading tomorrow. It's not like that at all. Really a great offer if you're not on TradeStation, and we can help you even if you're already on TradeStation get this deal. If you love NinjaTrader, we set up a deal with AMP Futures, ridiculous. Commissions as low as $3.30 on the good stuff, the things you guys are trading. I mean, I pay over $5 a round turn at Interactive Brokers. I love the broker, but I don't pay $3.30. And if I add up how many trades I take in a week, it's hundreds of dollars per week for me that I could potentially save. That's a perfect way for all of you to basically reimburse yourself back the cost of the tuition just again by taking trades. That's all it takes. Plus, they also waive U.S. exchange fees. I mean, it's an incredible offer overall. So if you're a Ninja person, this is also a great way to go. We don't get paid anything by Ninja, nothing by AMP, nothing by TradeStation. We've told them, we always tell our partners, do nothing for us. Put 100% of what you can offer for PTU students. That's all I want. So we are literally passing off everything that they would probably typically give us some. We get zero. Okay, I'm making these recommendations in order to save you money. So everything you get, let's just kind of quickly go over it. All the PTU systems, the full 2.0 you saw today, the calculators, the indicators, the trade plans, everything. The full PTU trend jumper systems, all the indicators, all the trade calculators, they know exactly where you're supposed to get in, where you're supposed to get out. You're never going to miss a trade setup. You get the home study self-paced course that you can start immediately. You get the 2-day live undergrad. You get all 3 majors, Forex, futures, stock, and options. Also, we do a monthly call on each major. You guys get to come to that as well. I should have mentioned that. Trade plans on dozens of different markets, and we're releasing new plans all the time. As long as you're an owner, there's no monthly, there's no recurring, there's no extra. You'll get the new trade plans as we release them. I already mentioned Trend Jumper, the coaching sessions, the live in the market trading, the lifetime access to the Owners Club, where you can also interact with us and other students, and the great support. I mean, it's a huge overall package, everything, system and education, all included. What's the investment? The fee is $44.97 for being on the call here today. We do cut $500 off that. So I want to show you the whole thing here so you can see. $39.97, somebody who's brand new to us, or just do a 12 pay, $377 a month. I mean, Troy and myself showed you that many times over. I mentioned to you, Gold in 10 days has made literally the entire tuition fee. One contract, by the way. If you own SST or one of our other day trading courses, you can take $1,000 off, and it's just $29.97. If you prefer the 12 pay, $297 a shot. Nice and easy. If you own one of our swing trading courses, we'll still give you yet another discount as well. We'll cut $500 off, $34.97, or a 12 pay of just $337 times the 12. And this includes everything, by the way. This is all in, all inclusive, no recurring charges. A couple other neat things that we're going to do. There's a 100% satisfaction guarantee. There's no way you're not going to be satisfied with this. I don't think I've ever been as confident as I can say with this, based upon myself personally in the markets, trading it every day. But I'm going to ask a few things of you. You got to be at least serious, okay? So I'm asking you to review the prereqs. I'm asking you to attend the live undergraduate classes or watch the replays in full, install the indicators, and make at least 25 trades live, or they can be demo. If at that point you're not convinced that this kicks butt, well, I don't know what else I can do for you. Just show us that you've done that, and you can get a 100% refund. There's no way, if you do 4 steps here, you're ever going to want this or care to. You're not going to ever want to give back this technology and the ability to trade this way. Even if you're on the monthly plan, you can cancel at any time. It's not like an installment plan. The only thing is there is, if you've done a payment, then that payment stays, but all the future payments will cancel and there'll be no recurring at all. So there is literally no risk at this point with this guarantee. If you do the prepay, first 5 here tonight, you'll also get a Kindle Fire, the brand new one, not the old one, the new HD, and we've loaded onto it the entire PTU prereq classes. So that's all going to be on it. We'll ship this right to you. Be one of the first 5, do the pay in full, and get this cool bonus, because I'm going to tell you it's really awesome to be able to watch the prereq anywhere in your home or office, around, however you like to read it, however you like to kind of consume this type of thing. You don't have to sit in front of your computer to do this. This would be a great way to do it. And it's kind of our thank you for signing up and enrolling in the university. So pay in full perks, save the initial $500, which is awesome. Get the Kindle Fire and get the 100% satisfaction money back guarantee. Pretty nice overall to get signed up. So here's how you start. All you got to do is go to netpicks.com/special, just like you see it. Got to type it into your browser. Right now we have 50 seats. That's the size of the October class. 28 have been reserved so far. I'm sure we're going to sell out by then because I've got the team in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York. They're moving around over the next several days. We've got people coming to every single one of those who are also signing up. People signed up today as well. So grab one of the seats so you can jump in on the October class. After that, I don't know when the next class is. It may not be till December. So it's the type of thing I would not wait. I would not delay. You've got the grade 12 pay, and you've got an all-in, all-inclusive, including Trend Jumper, one price, like we mentioned. $500 lifetime ownership, no recurring fees, and the Kindle Fire loaded with the prereqs. Pretty nice deal. That's a great deal overall. Not going to take long to recoup your investment. I'll put that URL back up. I also will answer questions here in a moment. Since the first class, again, with PTU1, multiple times over on the tuition. That's the whole idea. I mean, that's why you're doing this. I don't blame you. You want to go ahead and you want to learn all this. You want to trade this, but you want to make money. You need to pay back the tuition. Well, you can have TradeStation and AMP paying back your tuition. You can do it that way. And your profits, obviously, as you can see, can more than do that as well. If you just follow along with the training and the trading, that's all you have to do. A couple other things, I'll bring that back up in a second. Let me bring this slide back up. I want to go to the questions, and I'm going to show you a couple other things as well. So let's do that. Brian, I don't know if I still got you on the mic because I know you're traveling at the roadshow as well, but do you want me to just kind of read the questions myself here and answer, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, you're going to have to do that because I actually need to head down and start our San Francisco session, so I'm going to have to bug out.
All right, no problem. I appreciate you helping me with the questions so far. So let me go ahead and catch up here, Brian. We'll talk to you later. Good luck with tonight's session. And Troy, thank you. I know you're going down as well to do the demonstration, so appreciate you coming in as well. So let me do this a little bit on the questions. See, we've got a lot of them answered, which is great. Okay, let's see. Why does it keep showing stop after target 2 has been reached? Sometimes not. The only reason that it will show, Paul, it's a good question. Let's say that we have a situation where the target is a fraction of a pip, the way that it calculates it, because Forex can go up to 5 pips. It may get literally up to the point where it's inside that fraction. You're out of the market. And then in this case, it's still going to be plotting at that point. That's the only reason that it would. Otherwise, it will stop plotting as soon as it knows that that trade is finished. Trend jumper, good for which chart timeframes? TJ's designed it primarily because we wanted that frequency with tick charts, because tick charts are cool because you can get very quickly created bars. So he almost always uses a 377 tick, or on some markets a 233 tick. If the market has a little less volume, it tends to be 233 tick. Like we looked at unleaded gas, which is awesome on it. 233 is better. On Russell E-mini, 377 tends to be one of the good ones. But he also showed you on S&P E-mini, because there's so much volume, I forget the exact number, but it's quite a bit higher because you have so much volume. You don't want to have really tiny chart or little bars. So then we slow it down a little bit, though it still goes pretty quickly. Charlie, thanks a lot. I appreciate the comment. You're awesome. You guys are awesome. Always nice to hear. Thank you. Okay, so Ron says, what indicators available for MT4? Yeah, right now we are not on MetaTrader 4, and it's a great question, Ron, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. What we found is when people got very serious with our past strategies and systems, virtually everybody ended up switching into NinjaTrader or TradeStation because you cannot do tick charts in MetaTrader. You cannot do natural range bars in MetaTrader. We can trick MetaTrader to do range bars, but it's not perfect. It freezes. It has to be refreshed. When you're trading live and you got hundreds and maybe thousands of dollars on the line, you don't want to be bothered with little issues like that. So if MetaTrader 4 would add tick and they would add range bars, we'd be more than happy to be on MetaTrader 4. But that's the reason for it. We had so many people say, you know what, I learned it on this, but I can see your TradeStation is so much better, or your Ninja is so much better. You can still trade at your MetaTrader 4 broker. I still have a MetaTrader 4 broker account. I place the trades in there when I'm not trading them in IB. So that you can absolutely do. I'm just asking you to chart on TradeStation or Ninja. But good question. Hemat was saying those pips in a week. No, I mean, that would have been in the case, I think, when we're looking at the results, this few thousand pips on the swing trade, never going to be in a week. No, I mean, impossible. If anybody's ever told you can make 2,000 pips in a week in the Forex, well, anyway, hopefully you know that's impossible. All right, let's continue on here on questions. I have a Ninja license. How do I get a refund? Refund on the Ninja license. Well, on Ninja, you won't get a refund on the license, but what you can do is go through our AMP futures deal if you'd like, and then you can get that pretty cool deal. I'm personally seriously thinking about it because, like I said, I'm super happy at Interactive Brokers, but I am paying more, and it adds up. I mean, like I said, I was calculating I'm going to save like $1.90 per round turn. And for me, the number of round turns I do per week, it's several $100s per week. I mean, I don't know. Every time I do the math on that, it's ridiculous. Anyway, I think it was like 14 or 15,000 bucks a year. So anyway, Brian, what a deal. You guys are so easy. Appreciate that. I do want to say, too, I know I've got PTU people on the call. You're getting all this as well. You don't get, you know how we are. You're getting PTU, too. You're getting Trend Jumper. You're not paying extra for it. So anyway, I'm sure we've had that question. I'm sure Brian has mentioned it, but absolutely no additional charge for you guys. Let me see what else we've got. Just scanning through questions. Okay, hopefully Mary Jean, you answer. Okay, you got your question answered by Brian. So Brian asks you on that one, it's a good question. Why don't you contact us directly, info@premiertraderuniversity.com. Just email, we can do a changeover for you on that. I just sent the word email to you, Brian, but that'll give you the good idea. I didn't mean to be abrupt there. Is there any physical shipment involved apart from the Kindle? Paul, no, the Kindle, of course, we'll ship to you. The pre-rack, you immediately get to start streaming inside the Owners Club. The indicators are downloadable. Of course, the live training is us doing this live. The nice thing is, especially if you're international, I know that's sometimes a concern. You won't have to wait or have those kind of issues with the physical. Yeah, Ninja doesn't charge you commission, right? But I'm sorry for VJ here, but you are paying them. You have to pay your broker a commission. So Ninja's just going to charge you a license for their platform, or it can be free. By the way, if you don't use their trade management, you can actually get the charting for free. But so there are ways to do that as well. Coop, so on the answer to that, you probably want to attend if you're thinking about it, because they're also going to give you in the LA show tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, LA, you're going to get that USB. It's got preloaded training, some pretty nice little stuff. Plus you get to meet the guys as well. So you may want to go ahead and do that. The deal's going to be similar, of course, but it's definitely well worth it. It's been a pretty good experience for everybody who's attended. Plus you can meet some other traders as well. Yes, we do offer live trading room as part of PTU, so we do it live in the markets. Willie, really appreciate the comment. That's awesome. New PTU student. The system is great for me with your full-time job. Thank you very much, and I hope send me an email when you do fire your boss and become your own boss, which is nice. Thinkorswim, great question. Love Thinkorswim, great broker, but we still want you to chart a Ninja or a TradeStation. But by all means, feel free to place your trades at TOS. I know Mike has an account there. He places a lot of his options trades at Thinkorswim, but he still uses TradeStation for charting. Yeah, Han, the nice thing is there's no quotas on that awesome deal at AMP. And it varies by, it starts at 330, but it doesn't go up very much. I mean, it's really pretty surprising how good the rates are. Everybody we've shown it to are like, wow, that's incredible. So they literally are charging you what the Chicago Merc is charging them, basically, or what the CBOT is charging them, or what the Eurex is charging them. That's what's so cool about it. Live in the market training twice a week. That's for Jim. Monthly charge for using TradeStation. Well, if you fund an account there, you can get it for free. So if you're willing to fund an account there, you can get 6 months for free, even if you don't trade. After the 6 months, if you go through our deal, you will have to start trading, but it's a fairly minimal little quota. It's not bad. I mean, if you're trading actively, then the fee gets waived. Trend Jumper will be available on its own, like I mentioned, somewhere $1,500 to $2,000 later in November. That's for John. No, Paul, you will go ahead and go through our Owners Club, and we have a special relationship with TradeStation, and they'll get you all set up. You'll download TradeStation, you'll install it, you'll get set up there. We can also walk you through that once you get started, by the way. Yeah, John, on UST, you get the $500 discount on this. We're not making any changes to that at this point, obviously from several years ago. So this is, obviously we have Keltner Bells that's actively out there on swing trading right now, and then of course PTU. Yeah, no volume requirements, Han, I hope I didn't mess up your name, on AMP. So they're not asking you to trade 1,000 contracts a month or anything like that. The broker that we have the deal is AMP Futures. That's who the deal's through. But when you sign in and go in and you enroll in the university, you'll get all that information. You'll see the entire commission layout and the contact information. You have to work specifically with personnel there at TradeStation or at AMP to get the right deal. So definitely do that. I want to also show you a couple extra quick things here. Tomorrow, if you're interested, I'm going to be trading live. starting at 8 o'clock New York, 7 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Mountain, 5 o'clock Pacific, 12 p.m. GMT. It's netpix.com/hangout. It's one of those Google Hangouts, but you can watch it right off of our website. It kind of embeds a video, a YouTube video, but it's live. Or even better, if you have a Google account, log in to your Google account and watch it in the Hangout. But I'm going to be trading the PTU live. I trade it every day, so I'm just going to be trading it, chatting a little bit. If the markets are quick, it'll be crazy. If they're quiet, we'll be bored. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll try to show a lot of different markets, even ones that I'm not personally trading, so you guys can see it as well. So that'll be a fun thing. If you're around tomorrow morning and you want to pop in for a little bit, by all means, I'm going to be doing that for anybody who's interested. And I also want to show you guys, just so you know, we've been talking about this road show. I know it's too late if you're up in San Francisco today for the second one. They just are getting started here in 30 minutes, unless you can get down there really fast. But tomorrow in LA at 9 o'clock Pacific and 5 p.m. Pacific, the hotel and where it's located, you just got to go to netpix.com/roadshow. We'll be in Chicago on October 15th, 6 o'clock Central, and 9 in the morning on the 16th. And then we'll be in New York for 9 o'clock Eastern and 5 o'clock Eastern on the 17th. So by all means, even if you're already signed up, even if you enrolled today and you want to just meet us, come on out, come to the roadshow. We've got 3 or 4 people there. TJ is going to be at all the locations. Brian's there. We got Kevin there. Mike Rixey will be at Chicago. So, definitely, whether you're an owner or not, definitely come out for the roadshow. So just wanted to kind of let you guys know on that, netpix.com/roadshow. Got a few people saying put the link back up. There's the netpix.com/hangout. And somebody else wanted the order link, so there we go. I don't know if we're past the 5. We may be on the prepay tonight, so make sure to get that in if you're still, trying to input your information. Definitely get it in now. Let me see what else we've got here. Yeah, Jim, the deal for the Kindle Fire and the money-back guarantee, et cetera, is all just for this webinar and also for the roadshow. That's the only place you'll see that at all. And also the 12 pay. We've never done that before either. That's kind of been just for this webinar so far and just for the roadshow. No, Pat, there's no recurring fees. You're not going to pay us additional. That is going to change. We are going to start charging a monthly, but not, you're grandfathered in at this point. So you come in now, you're not going to have it. We were kind of planning on doing that somewhere on the 3rd or 4th class. So this may be the last time that we do not have that. But in order to really get this going, get a lot of momentum going, we decided not to have that a part of this. And you guys know, you've seen a lot of other schools out there. It's pretty common to spend $10,000 or more, and you don't even get everything. You get level 1, or you just get Forex, and then you got to spend another $5,000 for futures, or to get swing trading, it's another $3,000. I mean, what I showed you today, I realize is not cheap. It's not inexpensive. It's an investment. I get it. I do, and I certainly appreciate that. But we're nowhere close to what a lot of the other schools are at, especially the ones with lots of offices and overhead and salespeople. We don't have salespeople. I trade, right? I'm a partner, an owner, and I trade. Brian, partner in the company, he trades. We're the sales guys. That's how we do it. Let me see if we got anything else. Looking forward to meeting TJ and others in Chicago. Great. It's been a lot of fun, so definitely come out if you were planning on it. Yeah, Brian, it's a good question. We are going to add some automation to the PTU here in the coming weeks. We like to call it trade assist because I don't like people to always think about it like, oh, I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to go play golf and go to Europe if you're in the U.S. for 2 weeks and come back. It's not quite like that, but it's awesome, and I use it all the time for, let's say I need to run out for an appointment. I can let it finish managing my trade. It'll move stops. It'll do all that. I could let it auto trade for me, of course, but I'm a big believer in that other slide I showed you, the educational element, little things that a human knows that a computer just doesn't. But absolutely, it's going to be a really cool tool that we're going to be making available. No time limit, Jim, to take all 3 majors. It's at your leisure. Don't rush it because I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I want you trading one market. We showed in the roadshow, and we've showed before at some of these webinars, a trade plan trading the crude oil futures where you just make $80 a day per contract. Doesn't sound like much. It feels so achievable, and it is, and it's pretty amazing how just 80 bucks a day with very modest risk can ultimately grow to a full-time income, a huge account, 6 figures, just one little step at a time. This isn't about get rich quick. We're not looking to make a whole bunch of money tomorrow, right? This is just steady, 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 very dependable trades. And it's amazing what 80 bucks a day can do. And then just imagine as your contracts scale how you can do. Bill, no indicators you'll get with the undergrad training. We do that because what I don't want to do is have you start, playing around with them too much, being confused, maybe using them incorrectly. I really want you making money out of the gate. And so I got to have you go through the undergrad training first. Paul, awesome. And you're placed your order. So, yeah, you're a trooper. Thanks for hanging in there past midnight. That's great. BJ as well, I appreciate the comment. We definitely try. Thanks a lot. And thank you for attending as well and the great questions. Yeah, the assist, we're going to work on getting it on NinjaTrader as well. Yes, we're not going to discriminate against NT. I will tell you on staff, we don't have the expertise. We're big TradeStation programmers. We have a great Ninja programmer, but we haven't done Ninja automation before. So we're going to have to pull in some outside help on that. But the plan definitely is to offer that on Ninja as well. Yeah, the $80 a day, Mary Jean, would be the crude oil active trader. So that's what that plan is based on. So just kind of, right, that one goes for roughly about 150 bucks on a win, comparable on a loss. And that's every trade. Obviously, when I say 150, 160 on a win, why is it $80? Because we're averaging wins and losses and a little bit of slippage, of course, commissions, etc. So that would be a great way to start. There's quite a few markets that you can be in at that 80 bucks a day to start, because where that starts to make money is when you go into 2 contracts, then 3 contracts, then 4 contracts. You don't want to do that out of the gate. You let your equity grow, and that gives you permission to grow your account, or I should say to expand on what you're trading. The results are what time frames? If you're referring to the slide on since June 1st, on the return on investment, that was since June 1st. So we had a couple like that since the beginning of the summer. Yeah, in that case, really, it's not a suspend and resume. I can't guarantee to you. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I can't guarantee that when you re-sign up, we still have the same plan. But we do our best. I mean, a lot of the people here, as you can kind of tell, have been with us in different ways for a long time. We'll try to do everything we can to accommodate you. I can say that. So we're not unreasonable. We're out in person, right? We're traveling around to different cities. We're not hiding somewhere. So I will definitely, we'll definitely do our best we can for you. Different URL for the next step of the training. That's from John. Well, when you enroll, you should get an email, and that'll give you immediate access into the Owners Club. If you did the prepay, we'll be shipping out to you the Kindle Fire over the next couple of days with the prereq already preloaded as well. Sure, Mary Jean. Yeah, that sounds great. And I'll give you an email you can use. And then hopefully you've got Brian's ready. I have someone who trades futures for me on TradeStation currently. Can I also trade futures on the same account with PTU? Yeah, I mean, it's licensed to one person, obviously that one TradeStation. So if you have a trade partner, it's a spouse, or whatever, that's fine. It's just obviously if you've got a separate, ends up being another user, they're going to have their own license. You can definitely, if you're somebody who travels and you need one on a desktop and one on a laptop, you can definitely license the software that way. I get the question, what if I'm on the monthly and if I stop paying, what happens? It won't work for you anymore. I mean, I hope you understand that's fair. If you return it, it won't work for you anymore. That's just got to be in fairness to those who are enrolled and have paid, but that's the only limitation. How much does one contract cost in crude? You're basically looking at a round turn about $5 or less. Under AMP, I think it's like $3.50-ish, somewhere around there. So it's $10 per tick. On the plan I was showing you today, a target this week, it's going to vary, it's going to change each week, but this week is $360. Pamela, great. We have a lot of people who are SST and also PTU, so very common. The good thing for those of you who are on SST or even one of the prior systems, it's going to be very There's that NetPicks way, so it's going to be very comfortable for you. You already understand how the calculators work. You already understand, sort of the breakout entries, the confirmation entries, the target ones, the target two. So your learning curve is probably going to be quicker than most, which is nice. Bill says, how long would it take to reach undergrad level on average? You will be at it on October 23rd. So as long as you start today, you've got 13 days to go through the prereq. Believe me, it's more than enough time. We've had people sign up a few days before and get it done. So you have plenty of time. I don't want you sitting there 8 hours a day having to do it. Do an hour here, an hour there, and you'll be fine. You will start the undergrad on the 23rd. You'll be finished with it on the 24th. We will show you in the undergrad what we would like you to do next. Typically, that is some practice trading, simulating trading, because my thing is always, there's a lot of theories on this. Some people say, well, if I do demo trading, it's not the same as live money. You're right. But you know what? If you can't make money on demo, one thing I can guarantee you in life is you will not make money live. So there's certain steps we want you to go through. One of them is to do some back tests to feel confident, right? Then understand the wins and the losses, because you have to understand when it loses, you can't just be rattled by that. You got to keep going if it plays into the plan. And then you do sim trading. Once you're profitable on sim, boom, go live. I don't care if you have $100,000, you trade one contract. Whether you have $1 million, $100,000, or $3,000, trade one, small as possible. Then get that feel of live. Once you make money with one of anything, I'm here to tell you that's when trading gets easy. Until you get to that point, I can't say it's easy. But once you get to that point, to trade 2 or 3 or 100 shares or 4 option contracts, it's no other work. You just have to get over that first hurdle. The other thing that a lot of people do, right, is when they're trying to scale in the beginning, they too quickly give up. Don't give up. If I can, leave you with anything, is it's that first 30 days to 180 days that people make or break, and usually the break is only because you get too impatient. You're not going to get rich quick, right, in 90 days. But the scale and the compounding really starts to kick in from like month 6 onwards. Keep that in mind. All right, some more questions. Is $80 a day crude oil, is that during the live session only? Well, yeah, I'm not sure I follow the question exactly, Bob, but if he's using one of our trade plans, we just looked at the average it made per contract per day. One of our small account ones as well. The larger account one makes more, but that was the small account one. Okay, so Bill, we got you answered on that one. Harold, margin, one contract of crude. I don't have it memorized, but I'm going to tell you typically we tell you risk 3% or less, and really if you can 2% or less. So typically on crude, depending upon which plan you're doing. The neat thing about Trend Jumper, by the way, we didn't even cover this, is Troy's Trend Jumper tends to risk a fairly minimal amount. So you can trade a market like crude with that. And your risk on a trade, it's not uncommon for it to be $120, $150. On the 12-cent bars that I showed you, the risk is initially a little bit over $300. Now it comes up after that, but you don't want to do that on a small account. Whereas Trend Jumper, you can get away with some smaller accounts as you build up. So keep that in mind. Yeah, TJ he sent me a message here. Trend Jumper is very robust. Looks good on many different markets and time frames. Check out various Forex charts, natural gas, unleaded futures, S&P, mini, NASDAQ stocks. So just wanted to kind of send that note along. And then, yeah, Corey, I should have probably sent this link out. Thank you for sending that. I just noticed it in case you want to click on a link. And bring this back up again for tomorrow, the netpicks.com hangout as well. Margin for crude oil. Okay, I answered that, right? So let me keep going. Is PTU already available for current owners of PTU? No, but it's close, Joe. At the latest, it's going to be the 23rd when we do the undergrad training. I'd like to be able to do it a few days before for existing PTU. If we don't, what we'll do is we'll carve out the training on PTU2 from the 23rd of October and put it on the Owners Club for you, as well as the indicator download. The cool thing, Joe, about it that you're going to love, as you probably saw, it's going to feel exactly the same. So you don't have anything else to learn. All I need you to do is install the new calculator. And then, yeah, I'm going to show you why it's doing what it's doing. The entry is the only thing that's different. All the trade management is basically identical. The other thing I should point out that's really cool about it is every single market I showed you had 0 optimizations, had zero difference in the settings. I should have made that point earlier. It's way too late to make that point. That's a huge point. It is not customized and tweaked and curve fit at all. Every single market I showed you was the same. What is customized is the trade plan. Hours you trade it, size of the bars, days of the week sometimes where there's a special report that you need to work around. Those are things that we definitely do cover, but the actual curve fitting has not happened at all with the system, which is also pretty exciting. How are they different from SST? The similarities are we're trading a lot of same markets, but one of the things I just mentioned is a difference. As you know, with SST, we do have to turn a lot of dials sometimes in order to really fine tune it for different markets, and sometimes that means we've got to turn those dials on a regular basis to kind of keep it in tune. What we found with PTU2 is we've turned really zero dials, and because I'm taking a safer entry is the reason we had not had to do that, and that leads to what I'm going to expect will be a little bit more robust, where we're not going to have changes or any updates or tweaks. So that's really probably one of the biggest differences. Trend jumper to SST, it's frequency. I think you can see. I mean, literally, there was the other day I looked at crude oil with Troy. He had like 9 or 10 trades in 2 hours. I mean, I can tell you with PTU2, you're going to have probably 2 or 3 trades during that time, and I only want to win. I want the first one to win. So there are definitely some major differences, but somebody coming in from SST is probably going to have the fastest learning curve. Yeah, does the program take into account market sentiment, risk on, risk off? Vijay, I don't know if I exactly follow the question on sentiment. I can tell you we're not doing any fundamental analysis. Like any kind of market enthusiast, I'm always interested why Apple Computer goes down or why crude oil maybe took off earlier today and then sold off harsh today. It's interesting. But I've seen study after study that have talked about explanations and analysts, and it's no better than 50% being accurate when it comes to that analysis. So I just can't believe in fundamental analysis when I know that pros are no better than 50-50. If I traded at 50-50 in this style, it's going to be, you could make money, but it's going to be tough. I need to have those odds above 50%, and the only way we're going to do that is on the technical side. Bob says, the live session I was referring to is when your live session is open. I believe it is from 8 a.m. to 11, or you're referring, oh, okay, I see. So, well, I don't know if you're talking about the Hangout here, but the Hangout I'm starting at 8 o'clock New York tomorrow, just because that's when I'm going to start. Our live rooms typically, we start, I think a lot of times when crude oil starts, so about, in that case, 9 o'clock Eastern. We may start, a little bit earlier than that, but we try to sort of do it U.S. session. What I also want to do is have occasional sessions during European hours as well. So, that may be something that, one of our new PTU students will help us do. I've got a person already in the UK right now who might possibly ultimately head that up for us, because I'd like to have some Euro session Forex and some DAX just for training purposes. So that's something we're also working on. Joe, great. We'll see you then on the 23rd as well. Cool. Thank you as well, Vijay, on that. I am literally at the end of all the questions, so I'm going to kind of make one final call out. If you've got some questions for me, I'm here, I'm live. I'd be more than happy to answer. I know we had quite a few people enrolled today, and if you are heading out to one of the other roadshows, that's great too. Dates, and I know I'll see some of you tomorrow in the live trading, so we'll just kind of hang out and talk some markets a little bit, and you can just kind of come and go on that as you want. You certainly don't have to sit there the whole time. Let me see what else we got. Appreciate that. Glad the presentation was good. It was fun to actually really be able to dig in more to the markets and the charts. I mean, that was kind of nice to do. Usually we seem to have to rush through that. Pat says, I have 2 computers linked to my TradeStation account. Yeah, no problem in that case. Not at all. Yeah, same TradeStation account, not going to be a problem for you. Definitely a non-issue. One thing I do a lot as well is I use LogMeIn all the time. So when I was in Dallas here yesterday, I was trading during the class that we had yesterday morning, and I was on my Mac using LogMeIn to my computer at my home office where I'm running TradeStation and literally just trading through that. My biggest challenge was figuring out how to send through a middle mouse click. So once I got over that technical hurdle, it was great. I don't typically do it that way, but I was able to day trade just fine. Yeah, Brian. So Brian S. on that one, we can talk you through. If you would contact us, we can talk you through how to get what you're going to need to do really is establish a new TradeStation account in order to get the tuition reimbursement. But there are ways to literally just move an account balance to a new account. So TradeStation will definitely work with us and you on that. That's not a problem. Let me see if I can put up I think one of the slides I had some contact information. Here we go. Okay, there you go. Sorry. So yeah, just email us directly now that if you've enrolled, and we can kind of help take you through that. There's an email, phone numbers for U.S. Toll free, and then obviously international 949. So you've got all that. All right, that's it, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see some of you tomorrow in the trading. See some of you on the roadshow. Definitely, we'll be talking to. I know a lot of you starting the 23rd of October. In the live training. Definitely exciting to get my existing PTU folks up to speed on Trend Jumper and PTU2. I would say thank you to Brian and TJ. They're not even here anymore, but thank you to them as well. And Coop, yeah, they'll be seeing you tomorrow in LA. And Mary Jean, yeah, thank you as well. All right, guys, have a great evening. Thanks for hanging with me. Almost 2 hours. You guys are great. We'll talk to you all soon.